Welcome back to the final K. We have got stage 3 of the Itzulia Basque Country. Quite a lot has happened in today's stage, to be fair. A lot has happened. We didn't get a breakaway until, I'd say, about 5 kilometres before the first Category 2 climb. And there's a massive breakaway now. They're a minute and 30 up the road on the peloton. Massive news though, Isaac Del Toro has abandoned this year's Itzulia Basque Country after a crash. It involved Alex Bodin of AF Education as well as Ben Tullett of Vismalisa Bike. Two riders as well as, Isaac Del Toro hasn't been having the best of weeks, but Alex Bodin and Ben Tullett have been having a very good race. They were definitely very good yesterday. Am I focused? I don't know if I am. Is it going to focus? I hate being this close. Can I please focus? I don't know. I don't know if it's going to focus. It might be focused still. I don't know. But anyway, I'm at an ad break currently. I will go through the riders that are in the breakaway. So we've got Van Wilder from Quickstep, Fortunato from Astana. Then we've got Martin Guillaume and Braz Afonso from Groupama FDJ. Igor Arieta of UAE. Fernandez at Burgos, Tess Fassion of Movistar, Matthew Dinham of Picnic Post, Juan Bo of Caja Real, who is now virtually in the polka dot jersey after winning the Category 2 climb about 10-15 minutes ago. We've got Mikel Bizcara and Lastra from Escutal, and then we've got James Shaw and Van der Lee from AF Education, Axel Laurence from Ineos, Tobias Hallen Johannesson, surprisingly, for Uno X, he's in the breakaway, and then we've got Ruben Thompson from Lotto Intermarché. So that is how it is currently looking. The break, our breaks are over, so I'm back to watching it live. But 46 kilometers to go. The breakaway is a minute and 26 up the road, and we've got a massive climb coming up next in this Category 2 climb. It does look like a bit of a brutal one, to be honest. I'm going to change this to 45k just to try and stay on top of things. But yeah, the main talking point at the moment is the fact that Isaac Del Toro has actually abandoned the race. I never seen the crash. I think they might have shown it on TV. I've been dipping in and out of the stage. I've been watching it the past 5-10 kilometers now, but before he had crashed, I'd been dipping in and out, so I hadn't really been focusing on it until it popped up on my screen that he had abandoned. Oh, apologies, hit the mic there. I'm gonna do a poll here. And hello, Bobby. All good. Who should we do for the poll? We'll just do him again because, he's on fire at the moment. Guess who also crashed? Ben Tullett. Was that who we're gonna say? Because him and Alex Bodin went down as well. I don't know. I think Ben Tullett is okay. I think he got back up, if that is who you're referring to. But I don't know. Yeah, I know it. He actually did well for Visma there yesterday, so it's unfortunate to see him involved in that crash, as he is, always Visma. Where am I going? All right, I'll just do my prediction for today is Roglic. Well, I said I had a feeling that a breakaway was going to win it. I doubt this breakaway is going to win it. I'm going to add them as an option anyway, but there's the poll there. I said breakaway, and if it doesn't go to a breakaway and it ends up being a GC day, I'm going to go with Roglic, so that's why he's in there. But let me see, is there anyone? Another rider pulled out, Alberto Brottomesso from Barry and Victorious. He also abandons. Obviously, Mikel Landa didn't start today's stage after his crash yesterday. Apparently, it was something to do with the medical car, the doctor's car. Apparently, it hit him on the descent. I hope that isn't true, but apparently Quickstep are fuming with it. I seen a report come out that they weren't happy that he had been hit by the car or the bike. I don't know. I didn't read into it, but apparently he was hit by something to do with the medical team. But who else? Christian Scaroni has a very good chance for my prediction. If it did go to a breakaway, my prediction was Ben Healy. I thought of Ben Healy, Quinn Simmons, and Axel Laurence. Axel Laurence is the only one in this breakaway at the moment, so Ben Healy didn't make it over. But it looks like I'm going to go with Roglic then, because minute and 20? I don't know. Yes, he is. Del Toro is out. He has dropped out. big news at the moment, and it didn't look too good as well. They were showing the replays of it, and didn't look like he could stand on his right leg. Obviously, he's literally just a balance, so I don't know the details of it, but it didn't look good. He could barely put any weight on it. He had someone from the team car with his arm under him to keep him standing up, and that's bad news for UAE, especially with the Ardennes coming up, and he is set to ride them. Who else could? I'm trying to think who else, because the final kilometre of this race is quite similar to yesterday. 1.2 kilometres has an average of 6%, but the final 400 metres of this race has an average of 8.8%. So it is very, very steep. Kevin Vackwell, you could throw him into the mix. I'm trying to think if it doesn't. I mean, if Julian Alaphilippe's on form, fire him in. Why not? Utebrooks as well. He had a good one yesterday. Peo Bilbao potentially. There we go. Scalmoza, that's a big one. Thank you, Bobby. Scalmoza, 100% throw him into it. It's good for Arietta. There you go. Something bad happens, it means something good happens for someone else. So hopefully he can take the opportunities. He's set to ride them as well. No, he's not down for them, but that could change. He's down to ride the Giro, but he could go down for one of the Amstels. You never know. They are quite close to the Giro, but yeah, we'll never know. We'll have to see what happens with Del Toro. Obviously, the Ardennes are still, I think they're two weeks out. But which ones are he? Is he riding all three, or is he only riding? Oh, he's riding all three. Oh dear. Yikes. He might not be there for Amstel. Don't know. 2019 Alaphilippe would clean this. Here. 2019 Alaphilippe would yeah, I agree, he would be a massive favourite for this. The GC guys in the break will have a chance. That's if they can keep. It's 1:25 at the moment. I'd say at the moment, Van Wilder for Quick Step, Axel Laurence, I think he'd do pretty good. Tobias Allen Johannesson, and maybe Fortunato. Anyone else I'm missing? Maybe even Tess Fassion. Tess Fassion looked good in the Tour Down Under, and he also looked good at the Milano Torino, so he could potentially be there. But yeah, I think the bigger GC, well, the ones that are further up on the GC, like Van Wilder or Fortunato, they would have a good chance. Hello all. Hello Kat. Imagine Prime Roglic versus Prime Alaphilippe in this finish. I don't know. Imagine that indeed. It would be some watch. I was not a particular fan of Ala in the 2019, but yeah, what a rider he was back then. What did I miss? I know Del Toro retired. So yes, Del Toro did abandon the race. He was involved in a crash with PCS said he was involved with a crash with Alex Bodin and Ben Tollett, two riders who had a very good stage yesterday. So he goes down, and I was saying about not trying to be specific with the minutes, but about 5 minutes ago I said that it didn't look too good. He couldn't put weight on his right leg, but yeah, it didn't look too good. But we move on. 40 kilometers to go exactly now. They're just, let's grab the red arrow here. They are just sitting right here, just before the second Category 2 climb. They're just about to start going uphill as they're finishing the descent. But this climb coming up now is looking pretty good. It's 8 kilometers long. The first 5 kilometers of it, well, it's 8 kilometers long, has an average of 4.9%. You think when you see that, what's so special about it? The first 5 kilometers are just like normal light percentages. You're talking 1, 2, 3%. Once they hit 3 kilometers to go before the top of it, it then kicks up to 9%, and it has an average of 8.8% for the final 3 kilometers. So this looks like it is going to be a good one, and we could see the breakaway maybe take another minute on the peloton, depending on how the peloton ride on this final climb. If the breakaway want to win it, we could see attacks going off the front of it. It is a very big breakaway. There's 16 riders in it, so has nasty percentages in the beginning. They shouldn't even be allowed to ride the beginning of the climb. It's too dangerous. But just the riders that are in the breakaway, I will name I don't want to name them all again because there's 16, but we've got Ilian Van Wilder, Quickstep, Fortunato of Astana. We've got Martin Guillaume of Groupama FDJ, Igor Arrieta of UAE, with Tess Fascion of Movistar, Juan Bo from Caja Real, who'll be looking for these points at the top of this climb. Then we've also got Axel Arons from Ineos and Tobias Hallen Johannesson of Uno X. So we've got a decent set of big names in this breakaway. I used to live on a hill just like that, which is why I moved. It's 20% in two places, at the beginning and towards the end. Do you mean the beginning of, like, because it's 8 kilometers long, so do you mean the beginning of the 8 kilometers, or do you mean the beginning of the steepest section in it? Because the first 5 kilometers of it are like 1 to 3%, and then once it hits 5 kilometers into it, it kicks straight up to 9%. So it is a massive increase. So it is a mini version with a similar profile. Well, then that is understandable why you moved. Just after 1 kilometer and around kilometer 3. I forgot to also mention Paul Sachs has had a bike change. We're on the climb now. There's 6.6 kilometers and they go to a break. Of course they do. But Paul Sachs has had a bike change. I think it was just a mechanical. But he's back in the peloton now. That was a while ago. I just forgot to mention it. So I did. But yeah, we've also got a sprinters race happening as well. And apologies for my pronunciation, but I think it's Scheldeprijs. Don't know if that's right, but that is the sprinter race that is currently happening in Belgium. It is on as well. I'll be covering that after I think Itzulia will end first. 38k to go in Itzulia, 55 to go in Scheldeprijs, or however you pronounce it. But I'll be obviously covering that after as well. And we've got some big sprinter names at it. We've got Tim Merlier, Tim Merlier is, well, I'd say he's making his return. He rode the Jean-Pierre Montserrat a while ago, but this is going to be like, maybe we see him find a bit of form in this race. We've also got Jasper Philipsen, Dylan Groenewegen, Jordi Meuse, and quite a few other sprinters at this one. The Region Pays de la Loire Tour, it's a wee 5-day race in France. The second stage of it has just finished a while ago. I think it was a while ago, maybe a while ago. But Ethan Vernon wins it. Erland Blicker gets second, and Sam Bennett gets third. So I'm very happy with Sam Bennett getting third there. It's good to see him in a top 5 or podium for a sprint. Very short sections. Walking back from the pub was just too much. That's the only reason I used to lie down in the gutter and have a good field. So I'm just on a break. I'm on a break here now, so I don't really know what's going on. But I do know that they're on the second category 2 climb. Last time, before I went to breakaway, there was about 6 kilometers left on it. So that's 3 kilometers to go before the steepest section. And I wonder if we're going to get a few attacks out of the breakaway in this one. It ends with about 40k to go. No, that's a lie. It ends with about 30k to go. But we're into the 40ks now. I need to change that. But I wonder if we're going to see any attacks in the peloton. We've also got a category 3 climb after it, which is 2 kilometers long and has an average of 5.6%. So it does, let me see. Not the steepest, the middle of the climb, you're talking, 6-7% average. The bottom and the top of it, 3 and 4%. So the middle's the steepest section in it. So we could see attacks launch there. So we could. If you didn't see my YouTube short or my TikTok earlier that I put up, we're exactly 1 month to go until the Giro d'Italia. And the first Grand Tour of the year. Exactly 1 month today. And I'm excited. So we're back. The ad breaks have finished. I hope Yardi van der Lee does well. He has not been too lucky so far. AF Education. He's got a teammate with him, James Shaw. What has been 24? I was just seeing his results to see if there was any, top 10s, top 5s. I think his highest result this year is 11th on stage 5 of the Copy A Bartali. He got 9th in GC in it. But yeah, hopefully he can get something out of this stage if it does go to the breakaway. But I expect Johannesson and Fortunato. I'm actually surprised Scaroni isn't in this breakaway for Astana. I thought this stage would have suited him the best. Well, they still could catch him and he still could win it, or they still could catch the breakaway and he still could win it, but Astana won't be doing any of the chasing with Fortunato in the breakaway. Love the Giro, the most romantic tour. I love it as well. I'd say it's my second favourite if I had to rank them, like the Tour, then the Giro, then Vuelta. I think the Giro, great kickoff for the Grand Tour season, and then I also like the pink jersey as well. It does look very, very nice. But we've 35k to go now. Why did I change that to 30? There's not 30. I meant to change it to 40 and it changed it. Right, where are we now? 35k to go, so the kilometers are increasing. But this is actually going pretty quick now. They haven't hit the steepest section of this climb yet. They are close to hitting it. I don't know how long is left for this climb, but it doesn't look like they're on the steepest section. I'm trying to figure out who is pulling at the front of the peloton. We've got Little Trek. So we've got Pharma. What do you call that team? Team Pharma. Yeah, Kern Pharma. They're at the front as well. I see two EF Education, right? Or 3, is it? Ben Healy leading out Balocki at EF Education. Yep, Decathlon on the left. We've also got UAE, Visma and Ineos there as well. So we're getting the full picture of the front of the peloton now. Hello, Shelley. Best tour is the Tour de France, but the one I'm most fond of is the Giro d'Italia. I like the Giro as well. It holds a special place in the heart, so it does. So we've got 3.1 kilometers to go for the front of the race on the second Category 2 climb. So they are just about to hit the steepest section as they do now. An attack out the front from an AF Education rider. Is it James Shaw or is it Van der Lee? Who is it? Van Wilder looks to be trying to follow at his own pace. But this is a massive acceleration out the front, like a massive attack from this AF Education rider. 3 kilometers to go now to the top of it. So who is this though from AF Education? They have 2 riders in the breakaway. James Shaw. It is Van der Lee. So there you go, Johnny. PCS have said Van der Lee is. Yeah, so commentators have also said Van der Lee, so he has put a massive attack in. Ilian Van Wilder is trying to bring it back. PCS says 5 seconds. But it was a very, very good attack. Fortunato is now at the front trying to bring him back, so it looks like he might be brought back. I'm looking for wall switches, so I'm going to listen on this line. No problem. Fortunato now moves off to the right. Ilian Van Wilder goes to the front again. There's a rider from Groupama on the wheel of Ilian Van. Yeah, that's right. I thought I got his name wrong. But Van der Lee is putting some effort in here. 2.6k to the top of it. You can often find them on the wall. So Van Wilder out of the saddle as they cut back to the peloton. Van Wilder out of the saddle trying to bring back Van der Lee. So it looks like the peloton are just about to hit the steep section now. I think they're on it now as Visma are on the right hand side of the road. Decathlon is on the left. Little Trek just to the right of Decathlon, as well as AF Education. We've got Kern Pharma at the front as well. Where did UAE go? Are UAE still at the front? They're just in behind Ineos, so they are. But we'll see if there are any moves on this climb. I don't. Will there be? I think we're there's a few climbs in the final 10 kilometers, not categorized obviously, but we'll see if there's any attacks there. But I'm trying to figure out or think if there will be an attack on this one. I'm gonna go with no. I don't think there will be an attack, but I think that we'll just try and close this gap, as the gap now goes to 2 minutes for the breakaway. So, and the descent down to the category 3 climb does look pretty steep. But Peloton is just going up it at a decent pace. Fortunato now looks to have broke off the front of the breakaway, trying to catch Van der Lee. There's a decent gap from the breakaway to Fortunato, but Van der Lee has got a decent gap here out the front on his own, which is good to see. PCS still says 5 seconds, but I think it is a bit more than that now. Gap is sitting roughly 2 minutes, 2:01, 1:59. It's fluctuating between that. But it looks like Fortunato may bridge across here. As Tudor now move to the front, Tudor only have 3 riders remaining as they move to the front, with Julian Alaphilippe sat in the second wheel. So they're leading the peloton here onto this climb. I wonder if we're going to see an Alaphilippe attack here. So I do. Jakob Eriksson from Tudor is leading Alaphilippe out here. So it looks like Alaphilippe is pretty comfortable. And we could potentially see him go for the stage win. But I wonder if he's going to attack here, or if he's just looking to get over this. Roglic here, Bora is at the front beside Decathlon. Roglic obviously in the green jersey, Sexas in the GC jersey, and then we see Bolocki in the youth jersey, just a couple of riders down on them. But Ericsson here of Tudor putting in a good shift with Alaphilippe on the wheel. Gap still 1:59, 2 minutes. It's actually going down 1:56 it's at now. So it dipped there quite a bit. I almost never bet on the break. I think they're going to win today. I hope they do. Van der Lee has now been caught by Fortunato, Arietta. It's at Tobias Allen Johannesson in the back of Arietta. It looks so it does. And it looks like the rest of the breakaway is going to catch them. But yes, for my prediction, I said Ben Healy in the breakaway, or Axel Laurence, or who was the other one? Quinn Simmons, and Axel Laurence is the only one to make it to the breakaway. I said out of those 3, if Ben Healy made it to the breakaway, I would go for him. But I just had a feeling breakaway, just because of the amount of time now that is between GC, the top 10 and the GC. I thought the breakaway would have a chance at it. And the breakaway didn't actually form until before the first category 2 climb, so they did. About 5k before it is when the breakaway first formed. And they've got a decent amount of riders in it. Groupama with 2 riders. Escotal with 2 riders. Is Decathlon waiting for the flat part after the climb to go, or are they okay with this break? Froglich. There is that one. Is that Wana Yusu dropping out the back of the peloton? 91 or 4? Why do I always get the numbers wrong? It's the number 1 rider, but yeah, it is. Wana Yusu's dropping out the back of the peloton here. It also looks like Pello Bilbao as well. Yeah, Pello Bilbao and Bento. Is that Bento? No, Bruno Amaral. So those 3 riders are dropping out the back of the peloton. Oh dear. Oh dear. Well, obviously Wana Yusu hasn't had the best, but you would sort of expected it. But Pello Bilbao dropping out the back as well. So it looks like it is down to Tiberi of Bahrain if they are to get a result out of this. And is Decathlon, sorry, I read it out, but is Decathlon waiting for the flat part after the climb to go, or are they okay with this break? I think they might be alright with the break. They've won the first 2 stages. I don't think... Do you reckon Sexas could win if it came to a bunch sprint on the final climb? I don't know. I don't think Decathlon would want to chance it and maybe expose a weakness, seeing he is in the leader's jersey. But we'll have to wait and see. It is gradually downhill after the second, or after the last categorized climb, until they had a few more climbs. So But Alaphilippe is now at the front now. He has no teammate with him. The breakaway is spread across the whole front of the road. They're not single file. They're all in a line, left to right. With Ilan Van Wilder, Arrieta, Abrahamson, Tesfacion, Fortunato still there. Everyone seems to have survived. I don't know if there has been any. Oh, sorry, Matthew Denham from Picnic Post. He drops off. Poll 16 votes, 31% say Sexas, 31% say Roglic, 19 go with the breakaway, and 19 go with other. So that is what the poll is currently looking like. Matthew Denham has now been caught by the peloton. With Decathlon now moving to where's Alaphilippe? Did he attack off the front or is he gone? Quinn Simmons on the left hand side of the road for the peloton. We've got Movistar as well. They'll obviously be working for Utebrooks. But they've also got Tesfacion on the breakaway, so I don't know if they want him to win the stage or they want Utebrooks to potentially get some time back. That is I forgot to even mention, that's the GC on the right hand side of the screen. With Primož Roglic in second. So the race for second is on, because I'll try and work it out. I don't want to do, should I do 10th? No, from 28 seconds from second place to fifth. So second place and the podium is still up for grabs with a massive acceleration from Tobias Hallen Johannesson out of the breakaway. Actually, it's Arrieta with Tobias Hallen Johannesson in the wheel. Van Wilder in third. Is that Van der Lee from EF Education? Is Tesfacion and Accelerants also follow Fortunato? The two Groupama riders and one EF Education rider seem to be struggling, as one EF Education rider looks to have maybe dropped potentially. Ruben Thompson from Lotto Intermarché looks to be gone as well. But I wonder who that was from EF Education that went. $32.2k to go. The gap is now down to 1:25, so it went from 2 minutes to 1:25. So that they've completed that category 2 climb. The steepest bit is over. It is now a very steep descent, what seems like down to another categorized climb. Who is that? Five. So it is James Shaw from EF Education that didn't make this group, and it is Van der Lee from EF Education that did make this group. But we've got a decent group going into this final categorized climb, as Red Bull now move to the front. With Movistar, Decathlon are still there, obviously protecting Sexas, but Utebrooks is sat in second wheel on a Red Bull rider. I see Skelmos are there as well. Anyone else? Balocki's still there in the blue jersey. Quinn Simmons is still there. But Riccatello on the wheel of Sexas, and Sexas has another teammate in front of him. Ben Tullett is still there. That is good to see after his crash. But at the front, we've got 2 Red Bull riders, 2 Movistar riders, and 3 Decathlon riders, with a mixture of the GC riders in the back, and just behind them, sorry. So there's 30 kilometers to go now. I expect the kilometers to drop significantly here with this descent, depending how fast they go down it. I've always felt that when Tadej beat Roglic in that Tour de France, something died inside. I feel like his morale took a kicking, never mind the injuries. Yes, he kept winning the Vuelta, but yeah, I remember watching that live, and I actually remember cheering for Pogačar to win that, because Visma were very dominant, and now I regret cheering for Pogačar because he's done nothing but win since. Roglic is the one who's always been a Slovenian favourite, even today, and I agree. Oh. So it is now, the gap has grown to 1:34 as the Decathlon moved to the front of the peloton going down the descent here. Juan Bo from Caja Rural is about to get caught by the peloton. But what is happening here? They're showing a slow-mo. But what are the slow-mo off? So the slow-mo of absolutely nothing. So the breakaway, as it is looking now, it is now down to 8 riders. We've got Ilian Van Wilder, Fortunato from Astana, Braz Afonso from Groupama, Arietta from UAE, Tess Fassion from Movistar, Van der Lee from EF Education, Axel Laurence from Ineos, and Tobias Allen Johannesson from Uno X. So they're the 8 riders in the breakaway with 1:30 on the peloton. So it is it's going to get a bit tight here. Primoz was a bit deflated by Visma calling him off his acceleration to beat Kuss 2. Yeah, I suppose as well. I suppose, yeah, you could add that into the mix. Although I wanted Kuss to win because it was actually something different and it was actually pretty cool to see. But I can understand why he would be deflated. .2 kilometers to go now, so 3 kilometers there in the past 5 minutes, it seems. Is this 2 off the front on their own? Arietta and Axel Laurence on their own out the front. I think they've attacked the other 8 or the other 6 riders here. I think it is. I think Axel Laurence and Igor Arietta of UAE are now off the front off this breakaway here. I'm not sure of the gaps, but it looks like they have attacked here with 26.7 kilometers to go. They've finished the descent. They're now onto the category 3 climb, the last categorized climb of the day. But it looks like these 2 riders are going to... What does the PCS says? A 5 second gap. Still yet to see how far the group behind is. They've just got the camera on the back of these 2 riders. If Arietta goes on to win this will be a massive, victory for UAE, especially after losing Isaac Del Toro early in the stage. How old is Arietta? 23. Be his biggest win of his career. And they've now got the camera showing the back, and the breakaway is a decent bit back now. It is if these 2 can get over the top of this and get a decent gap on the descent, you never know here. But there is how long? I'd say there's about between 10 to 15 kilometers until the final couple climbs towards the finish. You get a Grand Tour, you get a Grand... Very true. Visma were just handing them out that year. Axel Laurence gets a bottle, so he does. Just thought I would say that. Thought it might be a nice gesture for a guy who's worked his hindquarters off, but it was also kind of ugly for Visma to call off Jonas and Primoz. Yeah. Agreed. So, camera pans back to the peloton. Decathlon still at the front on the left-hand side. Alaphilippe is now back to the front. A ball got thrown into a bush there and it started rolling down the hill and I thought it went back onto the road. I was expecting a massive crash there. But they are in a feed zone. 1:52 now for the breakaway, so it's gone up again. The breakaway has 800 meters to the top of this climb. But Movistar still at the front. 2 riders for Red Bull. 3 riders for Red Bull. But all the main teams still here. No real issues. But it does look like a potential breakaway win is on the cards here. Let's have a look on PCS to see how the Schelde price is doing. 38 kilometers left in that. Oh dear. Please don't end at the same time. Breakaway in this has 600 meters to go until they reach the top of it. 6 riders in the breakaway on the Schelde price. Anyone abandon? No, no one's abandoning. That is good. They've got 2 more cobble sectors to do. So 2 more laps. 3 more laps maybe. 2.5. So we have an attack off the front of the peloton here with someone from Alpecin and someone from UAE. Who is this? $36 from UAE, so that is Adria Perikas. Perikas from UAE, and who's that from Alpecin? 26 as well. Glivar from Alpecin, so them two have attacked off the front of the peloton. 25 kilometers to go. Ooh, Visma also knew that Primoz was leaving. That very probably. Yes, agreed. That does have the ring of truth. They wanted to rid themselves of an expensive man, and they did not expect him to keep his form. We summoned the Slovenian. So they're just showing a replay of the attack from Glivar out the front, or Glivar, or... How long does the peloton have to the top of this climb? Surely it shouldn't be that long. Apparently the break, well, Arietta and Axel Laurence are off the front. 22 seconds down is Ilan van Wilder, Fortunato, Brazafonso, Tesfacion, Van der Lee and Johannesson. According to PCS, that is. And then a minute and 55 is Perikas and Glivar. And then 2 minutes is the peloton. So that is how PCS have it at the moment. Roglic contract expires. Who thinks he will keep riding, and for who? Oh, I think he'll continue. He maybe continue for... How old is he now? I don't know how old he is. 36. Oh. Good question. Maybe he goes back to Visma for a retirement year. Seeing they lost Simon Yates, he works as a domestique. But no, actually, I don't know who he would go to. I don't see him going to a pro team. Maybe he goes to Picnic Post if they can afford him. Maybe he goes to Picnic Post. NSN maybe. Trying to think who else. I don't know. Apparently there are rumours of Hindley joining Visma. That would be a good rider to fill the gap of Simon Yates. Obviously, he won't be able to live up to Yates, but it still is a good domestique. Why Picnic Post and NSN? I'm just thinking of teams that could use with a GC rider. Picnic Post obviously struggling because they don't even have a win this year, and NSN, well, because they're a brand new team, maybe they have the funds to go out and get a GC rider. They've got Benim Girmay, who was probably taking a massive chunk off their salary, but yeah, maybe scrap NSN. Well, as well, NSN sign Unks, yeah. Roglic and Tratnik go together. Astana would fit. But I think... yeah, I suppose so. They don't really have their main... Who would Astana's main GC guy be? Harold Tejada, maybe? Right, 21k to go. Let me go back there because I've sort of sidetracked here. So I'm going to change that to 20. 20k to go as it still stands. Igor Arietta and Axel Laurence off the front on their own with a gap of Still says 22 seconds for the remainder of the breakaway. Ruben Thompson now catches up to the Johannesson group, which is chasing down Igor Arrieta and Axel Laurence. Pettikas, Fernandez of Burgos, and Gal Gliver from Alpecin. They're a minute and 40 down, and the peloton is 2 minutes and 10, according to PCS. I think cycling is getting a bit like these football, soccer market. Teams spend so much what a rider is worth, and more, which inflates the prices, particularly when in panic mode. Yeah. I think the biggest example of that is that Juan Ayuso signing. Like, that was a massive amount of money for a cyclist. And he has a lot to do to prove he is worth that. Can't remember the exact amount. Was it 15, 20 million? Something like that. Or I'm just completely off, but I did a video on it and I can't even remember the amount. But we're finally under 20 kilometers. There's 19.8 to go. Gaps are still the same. And we've still got the same two riders out the front. I hope Axel Laurence wins this, because I did slightly mention his name in my predictions video, but I will not take credit if he does go on to win it. How's G? Where is he riding this? Or you just mean in general? Oh, well, there you go. He does. Yeah, I agree. He doesn't have to do anything. In general, well, he didn't start stage 5 of the Volta Catalunya, so I don't know what happened there. He did crash. What stage? Well, he's crashed in stage 4 of the Volta Catalunya coming up to the finish, but he didn't start stage 5, and then he's set to ride the Tour of the Alps and the Giro d'Italia this year. But it doesn't say anything about an injury, so I don't know what happened with don't know what happened with him not starting, but he set to ride the Tour of Alps and the Giro. Egan Bernal has came out and he's added the Tour of the Alps to his list. He's disappeared this season. He was down for so many races and then he just disappeared. Come on, give yourself credit. He was like, "Oh, the final K picked me, so I have to try." Well, there you go. I'll take slight credit. I'll say I give him a bit of motivation for it. The danger of paying based on promise rather than performance. There you go. Yes, that's right. Thanks for reminding me. But no, I'm actually excited to see the Tour of Alps because there are some pretty big names in it. We've got Palazzari's riding it. Lorenzo Finn is also riding it for Red Bull. Derek G's riding it. Matisse Rondale from Tudor, as well as Michael Storer. Pidcock's brother's riding it. You know, it is wouldn't say it's the biggest name, but it is a Pidcock. And Pozzovivo's also riding it. The 43-year-old who came out of retirement, he's set to ride it. But I am excited to see Egan Bernal ride it. He is probably one of my favourite riders just because of his crash and the comeback. And my massive hot take for the start of the season for Egan Bernal is just not living up to the expectation. My hot take was that he would win. I feel bad even saying it. And my hot take for Egan Bernal this season was that he would win a 1-week stage race or he would top 3 a Grand Tour. Pozzovivo, yeah, or he came out of retirement there recently, so he did to start riding again. Pidcock's brother, I'll have to renew HBO just for him. They'll put the price up. Oh. So scale the price, 30 kilometers to go. The Itzulia Basque Country, 16.9 kilometers to go. There's a break in scale the price, 43 seconds up the road with Una Kelly, Bram Dissel, and Robin Carpenter. If any of you know any of those names, they're the 3 up the road in that race. But I hope that these two don't clash with the finish, because I don't want to be doing two I don't want to be doing 2 commentaries for the finish. Here, you never doesn't always speak. You never know. He could make a name for himself. He could be the new Pidcock. You never know. So what are the gaps looking like now? Arietta and Axel Laurence have 33 seconds on the chasing group according to PCS, but the second group, chasing Pericas and Gliver, they are at 2 minutes and 16 down, and the peloton is 3 minutes down. So it does look like we're getting a breakaway win here with 15.8k to go. And I wonder if it is going to be Arietta or Axel Laurence. I'm actually going to change. Let's do another poll. I'm going to go for Axel Laurence to win it. I would like him to win it just. But it is up to yourself. There's still 33 seconds down the Ilian van Wilder group, but there is another poll out if you would like to vote on it. My vote goes for Axel Laurence. My prediction for Bernal was that his name would be mentioned at least twice on somebody's podcast. We have half a season to go for it to happen again. Ben Healy out the back of the peloton just getting a bottle. I thought he was dropping there. Just as bad, the new Pidcock. I'm trying to think of something to make it seem better, but I can't. Roglic won't exert himself unduly. Just get as high GC as possible. The new Pidcock, the rider formerly known as. He just doesn't. He's not gonna escape that, is he? Oh. So the gap grows for the peloton, 3:04 now, down to 3:03, dipping in between that. I don't think Pericas or Gliver, they're 2:20. I highly doubt they're going to catch it. I think it is the Ilian van Wilder group. PCS still has it at 33 seconds. The TV haven't updated on that. I haven't even seen the camera on them. But apparently that group has grown to 9 now. With 2 Groupama riders, 2 EF Education riders, Tess Vassian, Tobias Allen Johannesson, Fortunato and Ruben Thompson. 13.9k to go. I'm still the same 2 out the front. I should have went with Axel Laurence. Why did I not go with him? I'd love to have seen his odds actually for a stage win. Oh, aye, true, yeah. So what am I trying to change this to? I'll change it to 10 kilometer, just 10 kilometers, just because I will forget when it does go past it. It does actually say, let me see. So there is 3 climbs before the finish. The first one is 1.5 kilometers long and has an average of 6.9%. Can't see the second one yet. It is on the screen, but I highly doubt anyone is able to make it out. It is a bit blurry. Let me see if I can find the. Let me see if I can find the photo on my computer because I do have it somewhere. I want to know what the stage profiles. Right, so 1.5 kilometers and an average of 6.9% is the first hill to come to. The next one, it doesn't have any percentages, great. It doesn't have any percentages on it. But then the last one, obviously up to the finish, 1.2 kilometers, has an average of 6%. And then the final 400 meters off this race has an average of 8.8%. So it is very, very steep up to the finish. So it does. I just said it there. So it does. I think that's the first time I've clocked myself saying that. Incidentally, great stream as always, and I want to 100% reassure you that in no way I am judging you for The Dungeons and Dragons book. It's actually not a book. It's a board game from Stranger Things. I just have it. I thought it looked pretty cool, and I sometimes prop my phone up on it when I'm doing a video. I put my phone up on it, and I've got a tripod now, like, but it's the board game. I've never actually played it before, so. 12 kilometers to go now, and the gaps are increasing. Ilan van Wilder's group, it is now increased to 50 seconds now, according to PCS. The Pericast group is now just moved off the TV screen. I forgot what it said, but according to PCS, it's 2:30, and then the peloton is 3:14 down. Pressed by Decathlon, smart to give this to the break and not ride with all that coming. Yeah, agreed. Now, Arietta is 5 minutes and 11 seconds down, so they're going to need to make sure that, keep it at this 3 minutes, this 3-minute margin. So they do. But yeah, Decathlon have done well at keeping it like this and not bringing it back and going for another sprint. Good job I didn't judge on it, thanks. So 11.2k to go. Still the same two riders out the front. Arietta at the front. Laurence in second. Just they actually are working together, which is good to see. Coming into the final 10k now. And the gap is still 3:15. They haven't hit or have they? And my thing is just a bit behind. Yeah, so they haven't hit the first of 3 hills left to go. Or is it 4? Looks like there's a small climb 2 kilometers from the finish. But I think it's just down to these two now. I don't think the Ilan van Wilder group is going to catch them. And yeah, the peloton is not going to catch them at all. Camera is now back on this Ilan van Wilder group with Fortunato, Tesfacion, Tobias Allen Johannesson, and others in it. They're now 1 minute and 13 down. So it's went from PCS added 33 seconds, so it's went from that to 50 seconds, and now it is 1 minute and 13. So I think they are completely out. Let's have a look at the poll here. 50% have went for Axel Laurence, 38% go for Arietta, and 12% go for other. So 12% think Axel Laurence and Arietta are going to get caught. So you've got the profile of the final 10 kilometers on PCS, so they do. So this, yeah, so the final, what is this measured in? So I was obviously measured in kilometers. I'm being stupid, but each wee individual bit. The final 100 meters or final 200 meters or whatever it is 10% or 10%. The sporting thing for the leaders is to work together and do a side-by-side sprint on the last climb, but that pretty much never happens. Did I say it again? I think I've only caught myself saying it once. They've got a team car talking here on the commentary. It's all in Spanish, so I don't understand a word. Oh. 8.8 kilometers to go now, and it's just, Axel Laurence and Igor Arietta at the front on their own. 1 minute and 12 up the road on the chasing group. 3 minutes and 7 seconds up the road on the peloton. And I think this is what we're looking like until the end. What? Let's change this to 8K now. I think they're under the second to last or third to last final hill, but it is fairly steep. 1.5 kilometers long, has an average of 6.9%. Steepest sections seem to hit around 8% in the middle and at the top. But we'll see if any of them decide to attack here, or they want to both go as a duo to the final kilometer. I don't know why I looked at the camera when I said. Yeah, Arietta is back in GC, so it looks like UAE have some hope in GC after this performance from Arietta. But it's just how close will he be to Sexas, and what will the time gaps be at the end of the stage? Scale the Price has 20 kilometers to go. Oh no, I'm gonna need to like a massive swap over, because I actually want to see the finish to this race. Still the same 3 riders in the breakaway. They're 48 seconds on the peloton now over in Belgium. Tess Fassion looks to be accelerating out of the chasing group. They're a minute and 17 now. A minute and 17 down now. Quinn Simmons is leading the peloton onto this final hill. Well, they're not on it yet. They're still 3 minutes down, but Bora will start chasing soon to preserve GC. Yep, they've second and third, and they don't want to lose a podium place. Decathlon seems really smart, so they will keep it at 3 minutes. I think other teams, like, I don't want to call you Rub. I'll call you Shark. Rubber Shark. Like Rubber Shark said that I think Bora, but I think other teams as well will also start to put the foot down. Maybe Little 2:14. Skelmos is down 2:14, so we might see a couple other teams. Tobias Hallen Johannesson turns around and starts shouting at Van der Lee because he's not taking his turn, and it looks like the chasing group is starting to set up because no one wants to work. They are still obviously fighting for third as well. But Decathlon, I agree with you, Johnny. They are playing this perfectly. They played yesterday perfectly, and they're playing today perfectly. Shark rubbing, that's danger. Tobias unlock Remco mode. Both these typed it at the same time. So it's just anyone that shouts at someone is Remco from now on. Very good. So we've got Quinn Simmons leading them on to this final hill. I keep saying final hill. The final hill with percentages apart from the finish. And he's putting in quite a big effort here. He's got out of the saddle. Arietta and Laurence, I think they've just crossed the top of it, or close to crossing the top of it. The gap is now, took a massive chunk there. It was 3:10. It is now 2:46 to the peloton. The chasing group is a minute and 11 seconds down. 7K to go. How long's left in Scala Prize? 18 kilometers. Come on, finish this stage quickly so I can watch it. Little Trek blinked first. They have indeed. They want to keep a hold of that top 5 and potential, because Skelmosa is 15 seconds off second place, so they don't want to add UAE to the mix here. They would rather just keep it between them and Bor and, Visma as well. They don't want to add another team into this mix. What was the... I actually want to check the gap from... So from 2nd to 10th, Cian Brooks is in 10th, 3 minutes and 1 second down. So the gap is a minute and 2 seconds from 10th to 2nd. Isaac Del Toro obviously moved out, so actually I take that back. Chapousson, it's a minute and 3 seconds from 10th to 2nd. So there's a lot of riders in there that can still fight for a podium place. It is a pretty exciting race. It is 2 riders out the front, a chasing group which looks to have given up a bit. And then there was a group behind them, Pericas. They look like they're about to get caught. The peloton is now, Little Trek aren't at the front anymore with a Movistar lead out of 4 riders. Sexas is still at the front, side by side with the Movistar team. He's sat second wheel with a teammate in front of him. Little Trek now move to the front on the left-hand side of the road. There's 2 riders there. But the gap is now down to 2:23, so it is. I wish guys would stop yelling at riders who don't work in Group 2. They should just leave them behind if they're not helping. All that RG really slows them down. Not that they're going to win. Well, he's obviously he's saving himself for 3rd place. And Tobias Allen Johannesson wants to bring them back. But the gap is down to 52 seconds now for this chasing group. With 5.6 kilometers to go. Do we reckon they get caught? We've got Ilan Van Wilder and Ruben Thompson both working together at the front. As I think there was a Groupama rider also working. They've got 2 teammates there. I'm surprised AF Education, because that's who Tobias Allen Johannesson was shouting at. He was shouting at the AF Education rider. They've got 2 riders in this breakaway, so I'm surprised one of them isn't working. So they haven't got the gap up for the peloton. PCS is 2:35, but the last time I seen it was about 2:24. The horses are chasing the peloton up the road. Hit the 5 kilometer mark for Arietta and Axel Laurence. So 5 kilometers left in the 3rd stage of the Itzulia Basque Country. I bet. Axel Laurence leading them up this. This is the next small-ish hill after that, the one they've just done. They're onto it now. The chasing group is on the descent. Is it the descent? Looks like a descent. Either that or it's flat. But Axel Laurence gets out of the saddle and he's getting a... No, Arietta closes it. Thought he was trying to gap him there. But Axel Laurence is attacking here. He's out of the saddle. He's putting the foot down. There's about a bike length between them. But Arietta isn't letting him go anywhere. The gap for the peloton, Group 3, which includes Pericas from UAE, 2 minutes. Axel Laurence now attacks Arietta. There's a gap forming, but Arietta is closing this gap down. But Axel Laurence wants rid of him. He wants to go solo onto this final climb. Maybe he thinks that he doesn't have enough on the steepest section. But they've completed this wee hill and they're now descending down to the bottom of it. 4.4k to go. There's a gap between them, but it should be closed here on the descent. You know that means on past form, Little Trek will sign a horse for driving. So the gap for Axel Laurence and Arietta on the second group is 40 seconds now with 4k to go. Groupama FDJ United leading them up this final smallish hill. I don't know the percentages or anything for it, but they're almost at the top of it now. But it is a descent down to the final 2 kilometers where it looks like it picks up again slightly. But don't forget, the final 1.2 kilometers have an average of 6%. However, the final 400 meters have an average of 8.8%. With what looks like the final 200 meters have an average of 10%. So it does pick up in the final kilometer quite significantly. With Little Trek now pacing at the front of the peloton. Little Trek have a rider at the front, then there's Decathlon, Sexas in 3rd, then 2 Little Trek riders in 4th and 5th. With what looks like Ian Izagiri sat in 6th, Roglic in 7th. And then there's a couple Movistar riders in and around Roglic. But Little Trek obviously don't want Skelmoza to lose any more positioning in the GC with Arietta out the front with Axel Laurence, and Arietta is only 5 minutes and 11 seconds down. The gap was 3 minutes, but they've brought it back down to 1:47, so I don't know whether Arietta will make it into the top 10. .8 kilometers to go now, and they will soon start to rise again. tight corner here, over some weird looking bridge. Was that a bridge? I don't actually know. Gap is now 44 seconds for the chasing group. So it is coming down, just not quick enough for them to catch them. Two kilometers to go now for this. The two riders out the front. 42 seconds with the gap on the chasing group. It looks like it is good. It looks like it's starting to rise here now. But Axel Laurence gets out of the saddle again. I wonder if he'll try to drop him here before the final 1 kilometer. Arietta now out of the saddle. Both of them are out of the saddle here in the final 1.9 kilometers. It'll start to rise again with 1.2, so it's rising in 700 meters. The chasing group is now 39 seconds down. Arietta looking strong. I would have to agree with you on that after Laurence tried to drop him but couldn't, so maybe Arietta has a bit more in the tank here coming into the final kilometer. The gap is 38 seconds. They don't have a time for the peloton. PCS is 2:35. Yeah, they're all working together now. With Groupama at the front. I know they left it too late. I don't know why they wouldn't just do it. They would have had a very good chance at catching them, especially with AF Education and Groupama both having a teammate. Just fire both of them to the front. But 1.5 kilometers in attack from the Groupama FDJ United rider out the front. Don't know which one it is, but Tobias Hallen Johannesson follows. Ilan van Wilder also follows. Anyone else going with them? No, the rest of them all look at each other as they're spread across the road. No one wants to chase. Now the AF Education rider kicks into... He moves to the front. I don't know which one that is. But Axel Laurence flick of the elbow to have Arietta go through in the final 1.2 kilometers. It is starting to rise now. They're hitting the final 1 kilometer banner. Arietta isn't moving to the front after Axel Laurence flicks the elbow. So it looks like Axel Laurence is going to be looking over his shoulder for this final 1 kilometer. I should change that. I wonder who's going to attack first. I think Arietta might get this here just because of the field attack from Axel Laurence. We're going to see... I don't want to make that joke. We're going to see... We're going to see an acceleration from Axel Laurence. But 900 meters to go. The gap is now 25 seconds for the chasing group. But we're going to see what happens here. Van Wilder, Tobias Hallen Johannesson and that Groupama rider have been caught. They are now about to hit the final 1 kilometer banner as well. But if any of them have like Pogacar legs, they might be able to catch them. But 20 seconds now, 780 meters to go. If these two both keep looking at each other and don't ride, we could potentially see the breakaway or the chasing group catch the two out the front. 690 meters to go. 21 seconds is the gap. Axel Laurence still looking over his shoulder. Arietta still in second wheel. 19 seconds is the gap. Can you see them in the distance? The motorbike guy with the camera needs to work on his camera skills because I don't know where he was going. So we've lost the camera feed for the front two. The camera is now back on the chasing group. We've got a helicopter shot now off the front two. Still same formation. Axel Laurence looking over his shoulder. As Axel Laurence gets out of the saddle, is it an attack? No. Bend round to the left. The car is in the way. We can't see who's accelerating. The car looks like it was meant to turn off but didn't. Arietta now attacks on the left-hand side of the road. Axel Laurence also, he reacts, tries to get into his wheel. I think he is in his wheel. I don't know if he'll be able to come round him. Is he going to come round him? Arietta's still at the front. 300 meters to go. Arietta's still at the front. Axel Laurence on his wheel. Is he going to come round him at all? I don't think so. You can see the chasing group in the back. Axel Laurence is still on his wheel here. Can we get a camera on the front two who are fighting for the why are they showing the group that is chasing? Right, onto the final, the finish line cam. Arietta still at the front, out of the saddle. Axel Laurence on his wheel. Is he going to come around him? Axel Laurence comes around the side of him on the left. It looks like he does have the legs to do it. Axel Laurence is going to win it. Axel Laurence wins it. Is he going to win it? Yeah, Arietta sets up. Axel Laurence, hands in the air. Massive, massive win. Fair play. What a win. Very, very good. Here's the fight for third place. It looks like Tess Fassion for Movistar is going to take it with Ilan van Wilder getting fourth. Tobias Hallen Johannesson getting fifth. But Axel Laurence with an amazing... He played that perfectly. I thought he wasn't going to have it in him after the failed attack. But Arietta goes to the front. Axel Laurence doesn't let him get away for 1 inch. Sits on the wheel until the final 150 meters and then comes round him. Out of breath, right? We're on the peloton bit. Paul Sexas is attacking out the front of the peloton now with Utebrooks maybe on his wheel. We've got a rider from Red Bull, a rider from Visma. It could be Ben Tullett. Where's Roglic? Roglic is still there. I see him, but he's a bit far back. Skelmoza as well. But Paul Sexas is leading the peloton here onto the final stretch. Final 150 meters now as Paul Sexas is the rider that comes over the top. He's still got it in him. This is massive. Is Ben Tullett coming up on his right hand side? No way. Sexas just done that. Sexas was at the front, pretty much out of the saddle. He just keeps surprising you, like. Right, where was I? Axel, wow. Well done. Thank you for your edge of the seat commentary. I appreciate it. Wow, brilliant win. Super exciting commentary. You delivered it really well. Thank you. I was listening off screen and you had me on the edge of my seat. Appreciate it. Do I also do the horses? Every time I am doing this, it sounds like I am doing it. I keep feeling myself that I'm doing Cheltenham or the Grand National. For once I got all the polls right, I should have bet on it. Oh. Yeah, Roglic was a bit far back on that final bit, but oh shit. I forgot about the other race, Scheldepro, so I'm going to move over to that. I'm going to keep an eye on the... Completely forgot about the other race. There's 7k to go in it, so I want to see what happens here. So massive result for... massive crash in Scheldepro. I don't even know if I'm saying it right, but there's been a massive crash here. They're showing a slow motion replay. We're into the final 10 kilometers. But what is... Dylan Groenewegen's down. No! Groenewegen has crashed. Dylan Groenewegen crashes in the Scheldeprijs. Oh no. Massive loss for Unibet Rose Rockets there. So we've got 7 kilometers to go. If you are just joining, we've just finished the Itzulia Basque Country. We are now moving on to the Scheldeprijs, or whatever way you pronounce it. It's a sprint race in Belgium. 6.8 kilometers to go. Dylan Groenewegen has just crashed as well. Oh. Oh. Onto the final. I think they're finishing up the final cobble sector here. Looks like the peloton has just finished the final cobble sector. 6.5k to go. Oh. There's still a breakaway at the front. 13 seconds up the road with Bram Dissel from, I don't even know what that team is, and Una Kelly from Beat CC. And Una Kelly is from Tartaletto. So they're the two teams in the breakaway. The peloton is going to catch them, but the let me see if I can get the... Pardon me. But his old teammate, I seen a rider from Jayco down as well, and I did see he was bald, but I forgot his name. But thank you, Johnny. It is Mezgek, or however you pronounce it. I need to work on my Slovenian pronunciations and pronunciations in general. It's not like Sexas. Each performance he keeps improving on the last. Yeah, that sprint from the peloton, he was at the front and he stayed at the front the entirety to the finish line. So it was a very good performance from him. Well, we didn't wake up to World War III, so it could be worse. So all the lead outs are now forming. We've got Bora's lead out. So on the left hand side of the road, closest to the white line is Alpecin. Just to the right of them is Bora. On the right hand side of them is Picnic Post, obviously for Pavel Bittner. Ackerman is still there for Jayco. Anyone on the right? Any lead outs on the right? Quick Step is the lead out on the right. Who did Quick Step have? Why am I asking that? Tim Merlier. So it's good to see that Tim Merlier is going to be in the lead out for this. But the peloton is tiny now going into this final 5 kilometers. 4.9k to go now. But yeah, got it for Groenewegen and the Rockets. All right, I get you now. I get what you're saying now, Cap. I'm being compared to sex us. You could do I could do a raw patch. Yeah, I would happily become his apprentice. Easy win for Phillips, and that is Muse is here. I think my new prediction: Pavel Bittner, Picnic Post are getting their first win. That's my prediction now. Picnic Post are going to get their first win of the season, and Pavel Bittner is going to carry them to it. Little Trek now are forming their lead out. They've obviously got Tim Teutenberg. The heating's on in the house and the door's closed. I'm very, very warm and I go bright red. So I'm boiling like. What happened to Del Toro? He had a crash with Ben Tullett and Alex Bodin, and he ended up abandoning the race. He didn't look good after it. Couldn't put weight on his right leg, so he ended up abandoning the race. But 3.2k to go for Scheldeprijs. Yeah, sure, equals whatever. Picnic Post still have their lead out. 3 riders left, including Pavel Bittner, obviously. Quickstep have 4, right? Is that quick? No, 2 riders left. Alpecin have their lead out is sort of. They've got 4 or 5 riders for Alpecin, but their lead out can't really get formed here on these narrow streets. But I would love Bittner win. Bittner winning would be like a massive win for Picnic Post, like, because they haven't got their win yet, and this would give them a massive confidence boost. Because it seems like, is it just me, or does it seem like that is all the Picnic Post have is just Pavel Bittner? No one else seems to be really performing. I think Pavel Bittner has their best, 6th at the Ronde van Bruges, 3rd at Braid and a Coxside. So yeah, he's got their best performances with two top 10s. Well, 2 top 10s, including 1 podium. So he seems to be the only one that can perform at Picnic Post this year. But with 2.1 kilometers to go, but all the leadouts have sort of disappeared here. I would say Alpecin, they've 3 riders. Picnic Post is theirs disappeared. 2 kilometers to go. Little Trek seem to be forming here on the right-hand side with 3 riders. But are they sprinting for Tim Teutenberg? Or what a name, like. That is a brilliant name. Or is it Edward Toons they're going to be sprinting for? Here's at 47. Where's 40? I don't think Tim Teutenberg... I don't think he's there. 45. Jordy Muse is a bit back. It seems he has been caught out of position. He's a quite a bit back in the peloton here. But we're into the trees. Right, 1.3 kilometers to go. Alpecin are leading them into the final kilometer. They've 2 riders at the front. Philipsen on the wheel, so it does look like a pretty self-explanatory sprint for Alpecin, but we will see who else. Is that Jordy Muse or is that Danny Van Poppel? Danny Van Poppel is now on... No, he's been blocked off. Who's what and who's where? Philipsen is sat in 3rd wheel here, and it looks like it is going to be a gift of a sprint. Looks like Pavel Bittner is in 5th wheel, waiting for the first one to launch, as Alpecin are still leading out. They're down to the final rider, but it looks like Jasper Philipsen is going to launch any second now, unless someone else launches on the right-hand side of him. Someone from Little Trek comes up on the right hand side. Philipsen launches to his wheel. Who is that from Little Trek? It is Valscheid. Max Valscheid from Little Trek. I thought he did launch. He didn't. Philipsen still sat in second wheel. Is that Fabio Jakobsen? Is it? No, he's not even riding it. My bad. But I think it might be Tim Merlier launches on the left-hand side for Quickstep. Someone from Quickstep is launching. I'm going to assume it's Tim Merlier, and he launches. 50 metres to go. Tim Merlier looks like he's going to take it. Tim Merlier gets it. Holy... What a... Oh my... He absolutely came out of nowhere and just destroyed them. Tim Merlier with a unreal win. Wow. That's his second race off the season. Holy. Massive, massive sprint from Tim Merlier. What a sprint. Wow. Let me see. Just whilst I'm waiting for the replay here, because I don't know what happened. I want to see if I can get the top 10 for... The top 10's all breakaway for the Itzulia. Pardon me. But Paul Sexas wins in the peloton. Ben Tollett's second in the peloton. Where did... Yeah, so the top 5 for the Itzulia Basque Country. So I'm going back to that. So Axel Arons gets first, Arietta second, Tess Fasion third, Van Wilder fourth, Johannesson fifth, James Shaw in sixth, Braz Alfonso seventh, Fortunato eighth, Martin Guillaume in ninth, and Ruben Thompson in 10th. Let me go back to the Scheldeprijs now. But races all over the road today. Yeah, he had knee issues. So he did. I think it was one knee, and then he went to return, and then apparently there was an issue with his other knee, so he had to drop it again. He rode the Jean-Pierre Monser in Belgium, and he got 19th in it. But that was his first race back. So this is like his proper first race with after having a first race, and he wins it in some style as well. I said it again. The preliminary results, right? So this is the top 10. According to PCS, Tim Merlier gets first. Pavel Bittner gets second. Oh no, someone from Total Energies gets third. Jean Air, I don't even know how to pronounce that. But Rajovic gets fourth from Solution Tech Nippo. And then Zach Ezrin from Bahrain, he comes in fifth. Hugo Hofstetter in sixth. David Derrick in seventh. Jasper Philipsen in 8th. Oh dear. Stefan de Scheitner gets 9th and Tom Crabb in 10th. Oh. So that's the top 10 for that. Another successful Philipsen hate watch. Oh, well, there you go. Tim Merlier beating Jasper Philipsen again, so that's going to add fuel to the fire for that debate. But, yeah, what a sprint, what a finish in the Itzulia Basque Country. I'm going to end the stream here because I am about to melt. I feel like a snowman. It is that warm in here. But thank you all for joining me. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video as well. I'm live again tomorrow for the Itzulia Basque Country. So hopefully I see you there. But, yeah, thank you for watching. Super job, thank you. And mind blank, I will see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching the Final K, and all the best.